hours from where I live, so not really the basics of dominate your ground. So yeah, really thought about did I really have the experience and really the desire and the want to do a refurb on a property that sort of when I looked at it and got it back after about 4 months, it wasn't in great nick. Letting agents hadn't really looked after it for the last 4 years. In fact, they hadn't even visited it for 4 years, but my understanding they had. So yeah, there was quite a bit wrong with it. Tenants weren't particularly great. It took us 4 months to sort of move them on, and the people that were in there a little bit aggressive and so on and so forth. So it was one that really we were going to move on. So anyway, got the property back, got into it, and sort of spoke to Mark, and it was really an opportunity for me in my property journey to look to do some refurbishment. I can assure you, I've spent 40 years in retail, in senior management and working in the field, and sort of finished last June. So wanted to really expand my property portfolio, and this was a great opportunity that Mark really opened up the opportunity to me, and we actually got a number of people involved. So Helen's in the room today, and we had Phil Seville and Amanda who all sort of got together and really worked on this project with me. So we spent 5 weeks refurbing this property. It was only planned for 3 weeks, so we overrun by 2 weeks, which I'm told from Mark is not too bad. We turned it from what was a real grot box into what I would class now as a good renter, and we could have put it through auction, and as Mark said, we would have taken a bit of a hit on it, or quite a bit of a hit, and as it stands today, it's sold subject to all the legals, and going out at 80k, which is a great result. But I think one of the key things that have really come out of it is that we all had the benefit of doing this refurb. I mean, to the point that actually sort of Mark come up over a 3-week period and gave us 12-hour days of his time coaching, teaching us certain things. You know, I'll be honest to say, you know, I picked up a drill at home and screwed a few nails. That's about the most I'd done. So the skills that I've learned, that Helen, Phil and Amanda have all learned, have been immeasurable. You know, it's just been absolutely fantastic. And we finished the property on Thursday. Last little bit of snagging, you know, one of the things we also learned was dealing with trades, because that was probably one of my biggest fears. Was, you know, am I going to get these trades? I'm 3.5 hours away. I know nobody up in Liverpool, in Bootle. And at the end of it, you know, sort of getting out there at 6 o'clock in the morning and getting outside the builders merchants, as Mark said, and I have to say, I never really believed it, that you could actually go and get these trades. So I was stuck in a hotel, and I thought, right, okay, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm up, what am I going to do? And it's chucking down with rain, and I'm thinking, right, okay, I've got to get a roofer, because I've got a leak. So before we do anything in the property, we've got to get it dry before we even start anything else. So I'd had a conversation with Mark, and he said, right, get some pictures on your iPad, take them down to the builders merchants and go and talk to some trades. And I'm thinking, what? You know, anyway, 5 o'clock in the morning, got up, got dressed, looked out of the window and thought, oh, bloody hell, it's raining. It's freezing cold. Do I really want to go and do this? And sort of looked in the mirror and thought, well, nobody else is going to do it. I'm going to have to do it myself. It's got to be done. And I didn't really believe that it could. And actually, I went to the builders merchants, and actually, as the trades are coming out, I had to wait for them for an hour, because I was there an hour before them. Out they'd come, and I went over with my iPad, and I thought, oh my God, I'm sure he's going to punch me. Anyway, just said, hi, I'm Mark. I don't know whether you can help me, but I just want to show you my roof. I've got a bit of a problem. Within 5 minutes, I've got about 6 or 7 trades and names that I could ring and contact. And I sort of stood back and just said thank you. And this guy I was talking to, I knew a lot about him, when he was going on holiday, you know, his children and so on and so forth. So it was great. And I sort of come away and thought, bloody hell, that was easy. Really does work. So, and coming on to trades, you know, I'm not going to be operating up there, but I'll be operating down where I live now going forward. And the beauty of it is that, you know, going to speak to trades and get trades is actually pretty easy. You've just got to get out there and do it and speak to them. Because I've got a crew up in Liverpool, and if anybody needs to know, you're up in Liverpool, and Phil operates up in Liverpool. You know, I've got Sparkies, I've got Chippies, we've got roofers, we've got Jimmy, who even wants to come down and do properties and refurbs where I am. We've built up a brilliant team, and backup teams as well. You know, Mark said to me the other day, oh, we need a gas safety. And I said, yeah, no problem. Within 24 hours, my gas guy and my electric guy is out doing the certificate. So all of that just happened really, really quickly. And the team I work with up there, they just worked absolutely superbly. We all got the benefit of working with Mark and the experience of doing refurbs. The things that I've picked up that are now in my toolbox of knowledge and skills is immense. And I got back on Thursday night, pretty shattered, and I know Helen was sort of worked up until Friday last week as well, and the guys come up sort of doing as much as they could in between running their own business, Phil doing a full-time job, so on and so forth. I'm living up there. You know, it wasn't a great place to start off living in. You know, we were actually staying there, and we tried to make it as good as we could to live. And as slowly but surely we got there, roof fixed, walls. I know all about damp in walls, so understand sort of Jim's theory. And we were speaking to Mark on a daily basis, and you know, giving us the great coaching on what to do, how to do it, who to go and speak to, how to get the quotes, negotiate with trade. So it was really immense, and all of those skills we've now sort of got that we can now put into future projects. Yeah, and I got back on Thursday night absolutely shattered, but really, really pleased with the great work. And I think we've shared that on the WhatsApp group within the family of what we've got in DYG. I joined in September, best thing I've ever done. Just want to shout out to the 2 Joshes that I spoke to before joining, Kit and Alex, and obviously Mark himself, because you know, I've done a lot of due diligence before sort of coming into the group. Best thing I've ever done. Really helped me with this one property in our portfolio that was a problem. No, I also spoke to Nigel about problem tenants and so on and so forth. Spoke to Jim as well, and Jim gave us some great advice with regards to a problem we had in our roofing leak area. So yeah, just coming back to the fact that, you know, on Friday I had yesterday off, and by 3 o'clock I was ready for the next project. So you know, I've only had a morning off, if you like, so I'm just waiting for the next one. And I did say to Josh, actually, I said, well, you know, with all these sort of skills I've gained now, actually doing a property 3.5 hours away from where I live, I'm not going to look for one, I'm going to look for 2, because I want 2 on the go. But around where I live. So just a big shout out to the crew that I work with, because they were all immense, gave up a lot of their time. Not for a lot of recompense, I can assure you. We had some tears, we had loads of laughs, we worked really, really long hours. It was just a great experience, and I am so pleased that Mark bulldozed me into doing this, because I was this close to putting it through an auction. So just a big shout out to Mark, our coach, to say big thank you, and everybody that sort of replied on what we put out on WhatsApp, and the encouragement that gave us all was really immense. And yeah, as I say, I'm not looking for one now, I want two on the go. So, but I'm open for questions. Me going forward, that's what I want to do. I want to work with some cash investors that maybe want to invest in me, that I can invest back with them, and that's what I'll be looking to do in the Northamptonshire area. I don't know whether there's anything else I've missed off there, Mark?
Well, mate, well done.